Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Azapi here, back again with Hunter x Hunter. We're on episode 145, not long left now, literally 4 episodes left. I can't believe that we're this close to the end. This is ridiculous. Honestly, it never gets easier. Like, you know, every single episode, starting every episode, I'm just like, it's coming to the end soon, and it's like, it's weird, like, almost being in such, like, a routine, you know, like 4 videos every week. It's kind of, it's going to feel weird not reacting to this. It really is, because, you know, like, it's been the longest running show that I've ever done. And because of that, like, yeah, that routine just has sort of, like, piled up, and it's going to be weird not reacting to it. But, you know, there's nothing we can do about it. Anyway, what happened last time? So, the whole of last episode was basically focused around the last 4 that were in the election, right? And, I pretty much see this coming to an end probably this episode, this upcoming episode, unless it focuses more on Killua and all of that kind of stuff. But we'll have to wait and see in regards to that. I mean, either way, with 4 episodes left, it's coming to an end soon, isn't it? So yeah, okay. So yeah, we had who was it? It was Pariston, Cheadle, Storm and Leorio, and it seems as though, obviously, well, between Storm and Cheadle, both of them do not want Pariston to lead to become chairman. Leorio doesn't really know the ins and outs anyway, so to him it doesn't really matter. And of course, last episode we did see him sort of give that speech that was more emotional and from the heart and very sort of, I guess, relatable, which is why everybody stood up and clapped and liked his whole demeanor in regards to that. And Pariston, even though, like, Jean, had said earlier on in the episode, like at the very beginning, basically saying to Cheadle that Pariston is someone that doesn't want to win or lose. He's unpredictable that way, and he wants to drag stuff out and have fun with it. So therefore, he decided that he would cast his votes over to Storm and sort of even out the votes again so that it would go to the final 2, I believe. So, but we haven't got the results of that vote yet. So yeah, I assume we're getting that in this episode. And then, yeah, we also got Jean, who said that there was, I think he said 1,000 airships or whatever that had gone across to the palace to pick up the 5,000 cocoons that I completely forgot about. And it seems as though Pariston wants to use them in the next Hunter exam. At least that's the kind of feeling I got from it. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, regardless, we know that Pariston wants to have fun with them. That's the information we got. Followed by that, it was the next Hunter exam basically starting as soon as this election's over and done with. And Pariston seems pretty, even though it's that whole thing of not wanting to win or lose, he does really... It's not really wanting to win more than he knows he's going to win, even though he may not. But regardless, it seems as though he's going to use them in the Hunter exam, which would be interesting, although I don't think we're going to get to see it because it's ending. So, whatever. Anyway, yeah, I don't think there's anything else to really talk about, so we're just going to get straight into episode 145 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 145. All round, like, at the very end, it seems like everything kind of just worked out in a nice way for a change. Mostly because of the thing that I was completely unexpected about going in was that, and I think this is the reason why over the past few episodes, like leading up to the end of this series, I've been like, it feels like there's so much more to come, and I'm worried that they're not going to end it like in a satisfactory point. And I'm just going to be like in that state of just wanting to know what happens next, and I probably will, still. But, I have been told by people that it does actually have a satisfactory, like, end to this, like, at this point, So, so that's sort of, it's relieving to hear. But I think, yeah, what ties in with my thoughts about that was strictly Pariston, because I feel like the way that he was portrayed and written was almost like he was to be a villain that could, like, I said like a couple episodes ago or something that I feel like there could be a story, like it could go like a multitude of different ways, but one of them I said was Pariston could end up becoming the chairman, and then you go into this sort of this story arc where the Hunter Association is being dabbled with in a corrupt manner. Because obviously the head of the association would be corrupt. Now, judging by what was said by him at the end there, it's almost like there isn't actually much malice at all behind him, other than he's just a game player and he just wants to fucking, screw around. I don't know how true that is though, because when Jean cropped up last episode and talked to Cheadle and stuff and basically made him he's unpredictable, that puts an element of distrust in the character, meaning that anything he does say, you don't know whether to take as truth or whatever. That could be something that he specifically said just to keep sort of Cheadle at arm's reach. Not let her focus so much or so heavily on what he's doing. And because of this, I mean, here's the thing: Leorio's he's not gonna go up for this. So regardless, Pariston's gonna be the chairman, and I don't know. You see, I feel like Pariston could have known this from the beginning, because when he was going through, well, of course he knew about. Thing is, he knew that he was going to lose. That's what he said. He knew that he was going to lose, but he ended up winning, and that was not the outcome that he had anticipated, or that's what he said. But I wonder if he knew from the beginning that he was going to win anyway, because he said that he was thinking that he was going to be going up against Jean. Now, we know that Jean had he had next to no votes. He was still in the sort of the running in the first ever, the first few votes that they had. So he was still in there, but I don't know what Jean could have done to grab that many votes, to actually become to get into the last two. I don't know how that would have worked. Because Jean is he's like this guy that is not very sort of liked. He's kind of revered, which is interesting, especially going back to the very the end of the Hunter exam arc, where Satotes and whatnot is talking about him and stuff, and he's very high up and sort of revered, at least I suppose just by Satotes. But it's sort of weird, that dynamic, that now we're at this point that people don't see Jean that highly, I suppose, in relative to other people. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It could be a case where Pariston's just strictly lying to Cheadle there. The way it came off, it did come off genuine, but if the character's played right, that could just be just a bold-faced lie. But we'll see. I don't even know if we will see. Who knows? We've still got 3 episodes left, so things can happen. That's still an hour's worth of story there that I feel like, I don't know, because this episode, it felt like a culmination, and that obviously ties in with the whole thing of them saying this kind of ended nicely, this episode, which means that generally in terms of arcs, you have the ultimate finale of the arc that everything happens on the event, then you have the aftermath. So it doesn't go straight into another arc. It'll have a transitionary episode or two. And I feel like with this coming up to the end, I feel like, I don't know, now that you've got, it's just now that you've got Jean and Gon together, it feels like we're getting into that, almost these last 3 episodes could be just the tie up, to end the show for now. But we'll see. So yeah, I mean, in regards to Pariston, I don't know. It could be either way. He could have been genuine, he could have been genuine there with Cheadle, and he's just and in that case, he's not as much of an interesting character as I thought. They set him up to be almost this interesting sort of semi-villain kind of character that could carry on into a future arc where he is the chairman. And the fact that he actually did win and he now is the chairman makes me wonder, like, I feel like in some regard he does actually have some malicious intent there. And it's not just all about playing games and stuff. Because I feel like if he plays that role as a character to the other characters, and like he wants to keep people guessing and be unpredictable, then I don't understand why they would just cut that off now, and all of a sudden he's just nothing now. So I feel like there's more with him, but we'll see. Okay, so where to begin? I mean, we've already begun, haven't we? I guess we'll get into the Alluka stuff. So Alluka actually does know about something. And also she can bring out something whenever she wants. But she has to be Alluka, and she has to be in that stage. Whenever she's asking for requests and stuff, I think that is... that's something that... I mean, it was a bit tough to sort of to understand all of the stuff that Killua was saying in regards to like when I think what he was talking about was when it is something that that's when something is asking for. So yeah, when Alluka's there, it's not Alluka requesting something, it's actually something requesting something. For fuck's sake, it's just trying to it's the fact that it's called something really fucks with me, because it's like trying to explain something and it sounds stupid when you're saying it. So I mean, I wrote it down. It said that Alluka spends not as much time as Alluka as you would think. So the idea is that even though Alluka looks like Alluka on the outside, when she's got when she actually looks like a person and not that like demon fucking face, that doesn't mean that something isn't there. Something comes out in regards to the request. So it's not Alluka asking, like, requesting something. It's actually something requesting something. And then he went through like a bunch of different things as well. There was one where if the person who something has requested, like that person disappears, like what Tsubone did, that whole time Alluka is asleep as well. I think it was a bit tough to understand like those subtitles going ahead, but I figure all of the things that he was mentioning, all of those times, is when something is out and awake, whereas Alluka's asleep, meaning that Alluka is like practically like something is like awake longer than what Alluka is, by a lot seemingly, which is why Killua says that after this, that's it, there's no more wishes. Now that ties into the Illumi thing, who is quickly probably, I think, yeah, at this point the scariest character in the show. It's terror. It's sheer terror with that guy, because it's not because he before it wasn't as terror-filled, because it felt like he has this weird thing with Killua, but now that he knows about this power that Alluka can do, it's like he wants just power now. So that's going to just corrupt him past the point of just, bad stuff. So I feel like he's becoming just a terror character, whereas at least like with Hisoka, you know what you're kind of getting into, whereas with Illumi it's a lot. Yeah, it's just he's kind of going insane at this point. So yeah, Gun looked fucked up. I didn't think it was that bad. I remember back to, I don't know if this happened like over time. I remember a few episodes ago when I saw him like wrapped all up in the bandages and stuff, and they had like blood patches everywhere and things. I was like, I didn't know he was that bad, because the last time we saw him before that was Killua was carrying him on his back, and it looked like from the view it was a bit far back, like it was, I think the angle was kind of like above the trees and we're looking down on him, but I think we saw Gun's like we saw like Gun's arms and limbs and stuff, and he didn't look that bad. I remember asking something actually back in that episode, like, I wonder how like this like did the skin, because obviously he grew and his skeletal structure actually formed like to an adult stage, and then it reverted after I released all of that energy. And I think I remember asking like something like, did the skin just like like remain, and then it just like it became horribly it didn't look that bad though from that angle up at the top above the trees, but it's something that could have happened a bit over time. Do you know what like the skin actually reminds me of is when Netero was up against Meruem, and like towards the end before he used his nuke, like that it looked like that, which I guess makes sense, because then that's when you're using up all of your sort of life force and energy that it just appears to do that. And interestingly enough as well, Alluka, when she actually did do it, it's not strictly like healing him in a progressive fashion. It's reverting. So because all of that energy that was released when Gon went up against Neferpito essentially was amplified again around the like whilst she was healing him, which means all of that was kind of coming back. I did put it to a like in the reaction I did say it was a lot like the rewind quirk that's in My Hero Academia, though it's with the rewind quirk it's in My Hero Academia seems a bit more obvious of a rewind, whereas with this it seems similar, but I don't know if it's because there's this sort of because it's all tied to life force, isn't it? Which is your aura, and your life force determines your sort of, like it's a part of your life. It's almost like your soul in a way. So I don't know if it's just like taking that from the like almost like the planet, as a sort of like all sort of life force energy kind of thing, and it's just bringing that all back. The only thing is that I don't know what makes me think it's almost reverting time in a way was because it's the exact same aura that it was there when he went up against Neferpito when he unleashed it. It's the exact same. So I don't know. It's interesting though. Anyway, none the least. What else? Yeah, so when that was all going on as well, Jean awoke, which is great. Like that's the thing is like with Jean, it's so interesting just to see him be that way inclined that he doesn't necessarily, I mean, I guess he was right when he mentioned in the tape that he didn't want to see him. I guess in some regards that is what it is, and he almost like set it up like a game. It's like, well, if you can find me, you can find me. But it's interesting, like, I feel like Jean never sought a plan of, like, what he would do, I suppose, when Gun actually did get there and did find him. I guess we'll not know until next episode, but, I said at the end of the reaction, I hope they don't, like, rob me of this, because they robbed me of it, of his mother, which was, I suppose... as a writer's point of view, it is kind of good because it's always good in stories to have things left a bit open-ended so that you can always theory craft, which makes shows and stories and stuff have a bit of longevity. And you kind of just make up your own sort of idea and things, and it's good it leaves it open-ended for something that is clearly as a long a show as this is able to, like, maybe in the future delve a bit more into it. But I hope they don't rob us of this one. I don't want that to be a case with, like, where they don't interact. You know what I mean? I need this. I need this. If this ties into, like, the satisfactory ending, then I hope it does. As a thing of from the very get-go, like from episode 1, it's kind of been about going trying to, follow in his father's footsteps. If at the end of the show we get that, then yes, I'll probably that'll be a satisfactory enough ending for me where I totally don't rip my own hair out because I'm like, fuck, there's no more Hunter left. But and yeah, I mean, that's all I've got. That's all I. Oh no, of course not. Because I can't believe I almost forgot to talk about the best scene of the episode, which is going back and Leorio and having that reunion. That was fantastic. The slow motion, the build up. You know what I mean? I didn't know how far it was going to go. Like, the fucking door burst open. Morel shouted. I was like, I don't know if I recognize that voice, because I was trying to tie it to somebody who knows Leorio, and I forgot that Leorio met Morel for a brief amount of time while he was at the hospital. So Morel wasn't even in my sort of head, and I was like, who is that? I'm trying to go back to like the beginning of the show, and for some reason the bloody rookie crusher guy came up into my head, and I was like, no way, no, there's no way, why would that happen? You know what I mean? It popped into my head, and I was like, nope. It was just like when I'm trying to cycle through characters and stuff. But it was Morel, and he even had the Kamugi fucking snot running down his face. Oh man, it was great, and he puts his thumb up. I didn't know to what degree that was. I guess it makes sense, healing him to a point, it's this sort of just magical thing that can, he's healed to the fullest extent. So I guess there was, it's not like when you're healing from something like a broken leg or something that they tell you to wait in the hospital for another day or something to just get yourself adjusted and everything. He was fine when he came out, so I suppose I should have thought that yes, he was gonna literally come through the fucking door. And yeah, that was a nice reunion with them. That was great. It because it's easy to forget how long it's fucking been. We're talking a long time. Because normally we would just think about it in terms of the Chimera Ant arc, which was 50 plus episodes. But even before that, just before that, the Green Island arc as well. Leorio wasn't in that, and so you're talking about before then. We're talking back to the fucking auction arc. It's a long time, man. And Kurapika is still nowhere to be seen. So. Damn it. I'm beginning to get worried. I think that's probably one thing that'll annoy me, if more than anything, is if we don't get a Kurapika reunion before the end of this, and I'm worried that we're not going to. But I can't. I need to not dwell on it because it will sort of just get on my nerves. The last thing would be that Killua didn't show up alongside everyone there when he was there, and Morel specifically said to Leorio, you can't mention to Gon how you were healed. How he was healed for Killua's sake. So yeah, I wonder what he's doing now. I feel like Killua's gonna go into just hiding away from the group. Bastard. It's so good writing though to have that, because of how things were left between Gon and Killua. In the whole Chimera Ant arc, how things were left, the tensions were high. Killua went and saved his friend, and now it's with the whole thing with Alluka. Obviously, he was never intending to go back to the Zoldyck family estate, because he knows that they would just put her in that that containment fucking cell facility thing that they've got under their house, and. So, and obviously with Illumi still out there, which that obviously didn't end to a certain degree. Killua can't, I guess he just has to. I think he's probably just gone off on a runner after healing Gon. So I don't know. That might be the last time we see Killua until they decide to carry on with the show, if they ever do. But yeah, I feel like that's what it is. We haven't seen Gon mention Killua at all right now. I mean, granted, that was like the final fucking part of the episode. Like, he doesn't need to immediately come out saying, "Where's Killua? Where's Killua?" That's something obviously we can get into over these next few episodes. So yeah, that's all I've got for episode 145. So yeah, again, another really good one. I'm going to get straight in episode 146 now. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below I have links to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page as well. So if you do want to support me, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards there that you can support me with. So there's the early access tier for $5 a month that gives you access to shows a week early. And yeah, I mean, I will finish the show obviously, with the last 2 episodes by the time this episode comes out. So if you do want to spend the $5 just to get it a week early, you can do. But it'll be out next week Monday anyway. So and then that'll be that. But yeah, that's the early access. Full length is $10 a month, gives you access to shows a week early. No, that's early access again. I just reverted back to something else. Full length gives you access to shows. The reaction to the full, obviously, the full thing uncut. Normally things are 10 minutes, but with Hunter x Hunter, that's just been full length anyway, just due to lack of time. But yeah, for other shows you obviously will need that for the full length. And then there are other tiers where you can pay to have a show reacted to as well. So if you want me to react to a show, go look at those tiers and see what they offer. But that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.